Welcome to the Forex, and here we're looking at the US dollar, and our 80-20 pivot within group 1, 10, 20 and 30 had remained in place. It never became the resistance, so that means we can keep our wave count to the upside, and as such would see it like this here in our original count of 1 and 2, and then looking for 1, 2, 3 here with a nice little sort of 5 waves in here for third. The fourth wave pulling back to the fourth wave of 1 lesser degree, a little bit lower actually, but maintained itself above the 80-20, which is important for keeping a bullish picture according to the levels. And wave 5 moving up here, that may not be finished actually. We may get a little move above here, so we could just adjust that to here and see a little move to here, and then get an A and a B and a C across here for wave 4. That can also pull back to wave 4 1 lesser degree, but we could just say back into 430 would probably be more fitting, and then a move up here, and that would complete this 5 wave structure up here, which would be as part of this move here. So an A wave, B wave rather small, and then the C wave up through to here that we were looking at originally. So that's on track. Now, if that's going to be the case, then the euro is going to be doing much the same on the other side. So if you can just sort of imagine this being third wave, fifth and third here, then the fourth here and the fifth here, that would leave the euro still sort of to the downside really. So wave 5 of 3 can be in, but there could be another wave down here. It just doesn't look complete here. But I remember looking at this here as well, and this sharp move here didn't really seem complete for this structure either. So anyway, this is, if I can move that, possibly see another move down here. But either way, some sort of, untradeworthy sort of well, look, it could do this here, then it could do this here, and then it can do this here, something like that. Some sort of choppy sort of price action. As I mentioned yesterday, if this midpoint here became the support here, then we can look to being to the upside. And yes, look, it did trade above the 50, I grant that, but not really into taking breakouts unless it's coming out of a particular correction that we understand. We normally look for the retest. The breakout's important as part of the process, but in terms of trading, the retest to confirm that price point as support is more important, because that gives you the point to work off, and you can get your entry and stop much closer that way, and obviously get a higher return versus risk in that way. So you got to always keep heading for doing the right thing. So look, it's still sort of choppy here. We know that the 136 is important as a support in terms of Fibonacci retracement. So we'll just see how it develops on this low here. And the 136 is important as well. The 136.50 rather, it's important as well, and it's not noticed. Well, I suppose it's becoming noticeable because it was the support over here, and now it's the resistance over here. So it's becoming important as such, and a little bit like this area here was support group 2, and then becomes sort of resistance here, and this is what's happening here as well. So I mean, this little move up through here does appear, sort of more impulsive than impulsive. More instead of 5. I mean, it appears to be in 5 waves here, but anyway, we'll see. We're not interested in going long until we have that 50 as the support there. The weekly stochastics is coming into the sort of buying zone, so we know there is support down here. We just got to find it, but we need to wait for the US dollar to top out at closer to the 81 or the 80.72 sort of area. So not quite there yet with a turn in the market. So just best to sort of stand aside until we can confirm the price action to the upside. The Australian dollar as well, still grifting and drifting sideways as such. Now, look, we're treating it as corrective, and wave fours do get a bit sort of complicated, but one of the things here is that it is maturing, so we can look for some downside shortly. From wave B here to wave C, we should get 5 waves in there, and it doesn't count very well with 5 waves sort of shoved in through this little area through here. It counts better as 1 to here, 2 into here, either to here, or possibly sort of here, or probably, but this little move up through here, this would be like a 1 and 2 in here, 3, 4, 5 for the third wave. This little move here, even though it overlaps wave 1 over here, the move down in here appears corrective. So that leaves the space for this to have another high here. So just be a little bit careful about that. We can get another high here, retesting 93. We know that 92, 72, 272 is important. But it's not probably more important than the 93 at the end of the day. So this rally here is about the 93 more so than the group 2 here. But just looking at this little correction in here, if we can just drill into that for a moment. I haven't labeled it, but one of the things that we can see from this point here is we can see down for 1, back for 2, down for 3, 4, and 5. So we know that this is a 5-wave structure here, but we know that this here is, all of this here is corrective, because this has moved up. This has moved up here through this first leg down here. So this really counts well as an A and a B and a C wave here, and this looks quite impulsive to the to the upside here, this little structure here. So it's because it's impulsive. This looks like a little wave 4 here. It's got further to head to the upside here. Maybe that's 5 waves to here, actually, the 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 into here, an A and a B and a C here, and then moving up from that point there. But it doesn't, the main point here is that it counts, like impulsive. This counts as corrective, this counts as impulsive, but it's not sort of over just yet. But my assumption is that it would make new highs over here first. So until the 92.20 becomes the resistance, then really the market is supported. And that's how it goes. So once that becomes the resistance, then we'll be looking at 91.72 sort of area to finish that wave 5 off. But this is still moving up and still hasn't sort of completed yet. So that's why we don't normally trade wave 4s, because they just get complicated. They could be simple, but most of the time they're complicated. So we don't really worry about them unless they're fully matured and we can see they're actually completed and they're actually starting the 5th wave. Then we can move into them, and that's just not the case just yet. So nothing to really do here for the short time. You could probably sell it, short it from up here, but we'd want to see if that was going to move up through there. The way I can sort of see it is that, if that's wave 1 here, that would be sort of 2, 3, 4, and 5 or something like that here. So you'd also need to see, before you short it, you'd need to see a little 5 waves down like that, and then you wait for the counter trend in 3 waves, and then you short it, and then you'll see that move down in its own little way, from that point. So you need to see that 5 waves there first, and a nice clear 5 waves finishing this one here. If I'm wrong and it rolls over from here, well, it's going to bounce off 92.30 anyway. So that's, you could probably get it back here. But while it's above 92.30, it's not really the thing to short. Once it gets trapped under 92.20, then there's a very high probability that it's locked to the 92 at that stage, and if it's locked to the 92, it might struggle in here for a while, but it will eventually move through there as well. But we don't expect a big fifth wave here, as mentioned before, because the extensions in the third wave, so wave 1 and wave 5, will be about the same. So, if it moves like way up here, we still expect it to take this low out here, but it wouldn't do it by much, so it creates more of a buying opportunity down here than anything else. Right, okay. The Euro Aussie, not much sort of cooking here really, but I sort of would like to point out that the move that from this low here up to this high here, retesting 148 here, is in 3 waves, an A and a B and a C. It could be 1, 2, 3, A, B, C for 4, and then up for 5 here. That's possible. But if this 147 here becomes the retested resistance, then this would be 3 waves here, and what would happen eventually would make new lows down through to here. So if that 147 becomes the retested resistance, then look to short it from that point there. This little circle here, the 147, is also the 61.8 retracement level from this point to this point. So it could be that this is an A wave, a B wave, and then a C wave up through here as such as well. I just don't know. This is sort of creeping a little bit lower than I sort of really wanted it to as a wave 4. So I was looking at this as an A and a B and a C to here. It doesn't fit very well into this point here, and I know that this is going to come down a little bit further through here. If I can just look at this here for a moment, just on the 15-minute chart here, I can see that this here has got overlapping wave structures, so it's corrective, so it will move down, but it's not worth shorting it into group 1 here because it just gets a bit bouncy. So look, we don't have a trend here as such just yet, so we just need to just to wait on that one. Just let me just bear with me a second. Just trying to find the original chart here. No, can't find it. Sorry about that. I'm normally a little bit more organised, but not to worry. Okay, moving on to the pound yen. So in this particular case here, well, look, it's moved to close to 172 and found resistance at that point there, and I think that now that it's touched on this area, it's back under 170, 172 here, so it's at a point of weakness. However, that said, just looking on the 5-minute chart here, I can see that we've got from the top here, this would be a wave 1 down through to here. I know it's not very clear, but you can see how clear this pattern here of 3 waves is. So that's corrective at that point. So we could look at this being wave 1 and wave 2 here, and all of this would be wave 3 to here, an A and a B and a C for wave 4 and down for wave 5. So we do have a 5-wave structure to the downside, and here from this low here so far, obviously, well, look, all I can say here at this moment is that if the 171.30 is breached, then we're going to be moving further to the downside. But there is a chance that we can move to the upside here, because this is in quite a nice 5-wave structure to here, and then so we can look at this as an like a wave 1 to the upside, then an A, and then a B wave, and then a C wave in here as 5 waves here, then another little wave 1 up here. So while it's sitting above or around this little level here, 171.40 say, then it can move up from here. Okay, so what it can do is it can move right up here. So you don't want to short it from this particular space just yet. If this low here gets taken out, then it would turn this pattern here into a corrective pattern to the downside, and you can look to short it from this point here. But this low here, this low here, and this low here is supporting a pattern that can move up from here. So it's more of actually a long trade off the 170-140 here. So anyway, that's that. You can always look at support on 17143, top of micro group 1, and look to add on top of 150 as well, and trade up to the 160 or the one to this area through here. So in an odd little way, it would be, we've had all this move down here in 5 waves, so we'd look at this as sort of a 3-wave correction, so to speak, here as an A and a B and a C wave up here, and then moving down, meeting supply back up at this little level through here, all of this here at the this 17165 area through here, maybe not up that far up this side just yet here, but if this completes up here somewhere and you see further weakness here, then this would be the one to trade to the downside here, because the daily is still showing over bought in this sort of area up through here. So yeah, it's just finding a way in short, and it could be into this area through here. Okay, the euro yen. Now, we were looking at this particular structure here, from this B wave down to here, as this C wave to here as an A, and then a little A, B, and C for the B wave here, and down for the C wave here. And we're looking for a move up here. We call that low in right on the 138 here, but the move up through here is not really showing or displaying an impulse wave as such as what we're sort of looking for it's to be a corrective wave up, but there'll be impulse waves here that should be quite clear, and they're not really clear as such. So we just need to be careful that this may be a corrective move and then rolling over again lower into this area through here. So